If you ever considered starting a podcast for your personal brand or for your business, this video is for you. We're gonna talk about why podcasting is so big, where is this industry heading to, what are the benefits of podcast marketing, and once you decide to start a podcast, how you can actually do it. What are the essential steps that you need to know so that you can make this happen and so that your podcast can meet the world? So there's a lot of things I wanna talk about, but the number one thing is that it's a huge market. It's growing. I've already mentioned this, but there's a lot of untapped potential. Number two is that it's a great brand marketing channel, and a couple of people that I look up to and follow regularly in the marketing space, to name them, Chris Walker and Dave Gerhardt, they promote podcasting so much, and they always talk about how much of an impact podcasting has had on the success of their personal brands as well as their businesses. They have grown their businesses significantly because of podcasting, because they were able to reach their audiences so well, and they've been able to build trust and authority in their space. The next thing about podcasting that I really like is that it doesn't break the bank. It's quite cost effective. If you want to start a podcast, you can really do so with the equipment that you have, even your phone and a very standard microphone that you have available at home. If you wanted to upgrade your equipment, you can always do that, and the sky is the limit for any tech gear that you might want to buy. For video, it's the same too, but I feel that creating videos is more difficult and it is more costly compared to podcasting. And between you and me, the other benefit is that you can do it in your pajamas. You don't have to worry about your hair, your makeup, how you look that day, how you feel that day, the lighting, which I hate doing, by the way. It's quite difficult for me, and also the background and all of the setting and etc. So it's just easier. Okay, leaving the technicality and the aesthetics aside, the next big thing is the engagement. The consumption durations for podcasts are so much longer, which means you have your audience's attention for that much more time, and time essentially is gold in this era, so this one we need to pay attention to. Next thing is it's very easy to access. We have podcast apps on our phone, we have Spotify, we have so many ways to reach podcasts. So the next thing is collaborations and networking opportunities that you can get from podcasting. If you're going to have guests on your podcast episodes, then that's a huge potential to reach out to that many people and to build more personal relationships with them. I convinced myself to start a podcast as I was listing out all those benefits to you. So now I'm going to move on to execution part and the essential things you and I need to know about to start a podcast. Basically, there are 4 things that you need to think about on the technical side. Number 1 is recording, and this is where you kind of decide on the technical setup. Are you going to record through your phone? Are you going to have an external microphone? What type of gear are you going to use to record your audio? Number 2 is editing. So when you transfer the audio file into your computer, how are you going to edit the file? Are you going to add music on top of it? Are you going to trim, cut, insert something? You're gonna decide what kind of service, what kind of software you're gonna use for editing. Number 3, and the big one, is hosting. So when I say hosting, what I mean is choosing the platform where your audio files are going to live. This will be your media host where you store your podcast files and allow the audience to listen to your content. There are a lot of options on the market for hosting your podcast, but I'm gonna talk about the one that I've chosen to explore further. Drum roll please, because I'm going to introduce you to Spreaker, a platform where you can create, host, and monetize your podcast. And at this point, I want to thank Spreaker for sponsoring this video and supporting me to bring this content to you and talk about podcasting. Okay, let me tell you a little more about Spreaker and why I love it so much. First thing is that it's so simple to use. The dashboard is so intuitive, it's so clean and clear, and because I already use so many different softwares on a day-to-day basis, I just don't want any more complexities, and I don't want to learn something from scratch and for that to take time. With Spreaker, that was really not the case. It was really easy to see everything in one place, to start a podcast, to manage it, to monetize it, and to distribute it. You can do everything in one single place, and that space is called content management system, just like the websites where we say WordPress is a CMS. Think of this content management system as your main dashboard where you manage your content, where you place your ads, where you set up your podcast for distribution and promotion using the social media channels that you can link in your dashboard. You can then go ahead and look at the analytics within the same dashboard, and then you can have this all in one place to manage and analyze and optimize your podcast strategy. Spreaker has a couple different plans that match different needs, so you can go check out which one matches your needs and which one fits your budget too. But I'll say that they're really fairly priced and you'll get a good deal for your buck. There are a couple of things that stood out to me with Spreaker, and one of them is that you're able to have multiple podcasts. So if you have one for business and one for personal, you can see both of them in the same dashboard and you'll be paying for them already within one certain plan. The other thing that stood out to me is with the analytics section, and because I'm a marketer, this is obviously super important for me. And what's great here is that you can see the downloads, the listeners, the sources, devices. You can see all of that information for the different listening apps, which means Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. For all of those listening apps, you'll see all the data in one single space, which is important, which is very, very convenient, and which is a very attractive decision point for me. So here's the exciting news. Spreaker is kind enough to give you 30% off of your membership plan for the next 6 months if you use the coupon code ELIF at checkout, or if you use the link that I will leave in the description box below, as well as the comments. Just a little note here that if you're interested in learning more about podcasting, then Spreaker invests a lot into education and creating educational content for its audience. I'd recommend to go ahead and check out that content too that they have, and I'll leave a couple of links in the description box for their content if you want to check it out. Now, circling back to my fourth point on the list of execution of a podcast was distribution. And with Spreaker, you don't actually have to worry about distribution because that is kind of auto-submitted within the dashboard, within the content management system that I already told you about. So they already take care of that. But if your hosting platform does not take care of this, then the fourth point that you need to worry about is the distribution of your podcast. Okay guys, that is a wrap for this video. Hopefully it was valuable for you, and hopefully I was able to motivate you to start your podcast, or at least to give it some serious thought and why you should include it in your content strategy. As usual, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, do that and stretch that thumb of yours to hit that like button and leave a comment below letting me know if you already have a podcast or if you're considering to start a podcast. Take care guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.